This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock, joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette for some post-election analysis. It's been almost a week.
I ought to have figured it out by now, right?
We ought to have it all done.
Not all the races are figured out.
That's true. Not in Arkansas, they mostly are. So,
yeah.
but maybe not around the country. Let's begin with what happened here in Arkansas. This description was provided to me. I asked where the blue wave was in Arkansas, and somebody said there was a blue sneeze up around Charlie Collins District in northwest Arkansas, and that was probably the big hit for the night.
Washington County, and then mid-Little Rock, and there's a country song. She told me, "I'm not the wave, I'm just the water." And I think that's sort of what there's just a little bit of water, no wave in Arkansas. We're different. Whatever happens nationally, we're not going to be participating in it here.
That's right.
We go our own way.
Well, I mean, Arkansas has been trending that direction for quite some time. This will be the fourth cycle in a row that we've seen Republicans either hold ground or gains. All of that sound and fury, and the legislature numbers are the exact same as they were before the election. I mean, there was no change in any of the
Democrats
numbers.
Pick up a couple and they lose a couple, and you know.
And at the constitutional and congressional levels, nothing changes there either.
It's overpowering. It's always interesting to me, and I need to be reminded of it every 2 years, to look at Pulaski County's percentages and then look at the rest of the state. And it's an interplanetary experience to do that. And it's amazing that there can be that much difference at a county line, but there is. You know, like Susan Inman, a very solid Democratic candidate for Secretary of State, great credentials. I thought she ran hard and performed well, and I look at the Pulaski County vote and she's 2-1. But it's almost 2-1 the other way by the time the rest of the state votes. The reddening of Arkansas is a deep, rich crimson. It's a deep Red Sea out there, and Democrats drown in those waters regularly. And it's just becoming deeper and more perilous for Democrats every time. For all the talk about a new Democratic Party and good candidates like Jonathan Crossley and others, in the end, the trend since 2010 continues.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the Little Rock mayor's race. We have a runoff there. You've got Frank Scott and Baker Curris in that runoff. Warwick Sabin just missing that runoff. What is your expectation for the runoff? Is this Frank Scott with the lead that he has? Is it his to lose, or are all bets off in a runoff?
Roby, I'm just going to tell you, I missed that story entirely. I don't like missing stories. I don't like being out of touch. I don't like being out of touch in my town, where I've lived most of my life. But I spent so much ink worrying about Baker Curris versus Warwick Sabin and how are these progressives going to go. And Frank Scott comes in there with a solid plurality, 37%. Yeah. And whereas
knocked on the door of 40.
Yes. And I just, forgive me, but I've just got to tell you the honest truth and the best analysis I can give you, which is that I have no idea. I can think about it one minute and think, well, Curris is going to consolidate a lot of the white progressive vote and is going to win. Then I can think, no, Scott is running sort of an inspirational race in disenfranchised parts of town. It's a matter of get out the vote. He got out the vote in the early vote. He led by more in the early vote, largely a result of getting people who maybe have to work on election day to vote early. So I just do not know. That's the best I can tell you. I do know that sitting in Midtown in the Hillcrest neighborhood, I've had a door knocker and a flyer from Frank Scott last week, not Baker Curris. I think Scott sees a chance to pick up a lot of the Sabin vote, and just anecdotally, people that I run into in the neighborhood are leaning towards Scott more than Curris. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be one to watch.
Yeah, well, I guess.
For sure.
That's some profundity right there. It'll be one to watch. How about we'll see? Do you like that one?
How about
we'll see?
We'll keep our eye on it.
Keep our eye on it, yeah, yeah. That's, yeah.
All right. Casinos, the closest of the three ballot issues this last election eve or election night. What were you surprised that it finally passed?
No, I pretty much accepted that it was going to. Looked like it was going to. There's this developing refrain among liberals in Arkansas that the Arkansas voters are voting very conservative for people based on a generic R while they're taking liberal positions. Marijuana a couple of years ago, raising the minimum wage now twice in 4 years or 2 years, 4 years, 4 years, and now casinos. I mean, they're going out there and voting a strict, hard conservative line in the contested races between persons, while on policy, whether they know it or not, they look a little liberal or at least populist or permissive. Marijuana, casinos, what's next? I don't know. Whatever David Cash proposes, I guess. So it's
redistricting is going to be the next big thing.
Right, as I wrote about that yesterday.
Well, I knew about that beforehand too. He got his ballot access approved, so.
Well, I didn't mean to suggest you were dependent on my column to know. I was just saying that I chose to invoke that yesterday because it's a big coming thing on the redistricting. Yeah.
Let's turn our attention to international affairs. We celebrated the 100th anniversary of the armistice over the weekend. President Trump on the world stage once again.
What?
He didn't say much, but he's still at the center of controversy in everything that he seems to be able to do. So he's going to come back to the United States to a lame duck Congress. And then he's going to come back after that to a Democratic House of Representatives. What do you see happening in the lame duck Congress? What do you see happening once oversight truly begins?
I see nothing much happening in the lame duck Congress. I see already on the news shows yesterday, you had 2 or 3 Democratic committee chairmen-to-be saying we're going to have some hearings on things that, like, we're going to bring this acting attorney general in, and we're going to grill him on whether he can be an objective attorney general. I think it's going to be 2 years of investigations. I don't think it's going to be Benghazi level investigations. I think there might be a public recoiling against that, but I think the Democrats are hoping to do a few well-chosen hearings to just keep a check on Trump, which is what I think that this majority was elected to do, and also make the case that there are things going on here that are to continue the case that this guy is perilous as our president. And I just think we're going to have a steady stream of not inquest level investigations, but fact-finding investigations. That's the idea, to hold this administration more to account as it needs to be.
And then we still have aspects of the Mueller investigation that we do not know where all those different layers of the onion are going to begin unpeeling, and we will see more of that, I think, over the next couple of months too. There seemed to be
I don't think anything's going. Yeah, I don't think anything policy-wise or legislatively much is likely to happen before the end of the year. I could see Mueller returning some, or I could see some indictments that tighten the noose on Trump. I could, extending to family members, and you know. People kind of went to sleep on Mueller because there is this sort of polite rule, let's not pursue investigations and indictments during the midterm season, but it was there, he's working. This acting attorney general is not going to be able to stop it, I don't believe, not without some incredible scandal, and it's he's got. Well, the Wall Street Journal has reported about Trump's direct involvement on tape with his once fixer, now foe, Cohen, talking about potentially violating campaign laws to pay off women to silence them. That's just part of what is there, and it's something that has been publicized. But I think we may be in for a wild several months on the Mueller investigation. I really do.
Last question for you. In the lame duck Congress, we are likely to see some things line up in terms of leadership fights for the next Congress. Nancy Pelosi, is she going to be the next Speaker of the House? And who is going to be the House Minority Leader, if you had to place a small wager on it now, since casinos are now legal, or about to be legal?
Well, I have no idea who's going to be the House Minority Leader. I haven't concerned myself with it. Do you mean replacing Paul Ryan?
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't kept up with it. Don't really care. I'm sorry. Do you know who it's going to be?
I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, Kevin McCarthy is out there.
Well, he's
Jim
the
Jordan is out
obvious
there.
choice, but no, I don't know. Pelosi, do not vote against Pelosi. Do not bet against Pelosi. Well, unless you get real good odds. Marion Barry, good old boy, farmer, Democrat from East Arkansas, years ago when he was in the House, sat at the Holiday Inn in Jonesboro for breakfast and said to me, I love Nancy Pelosi. She's the smartest political operator I've ever seen. He said, the smartest woman I've dealt with in politics is not Hillary Clinton, it's Nancy Pelosi. And she takes care of you, and she is somebody you can rely on to get the job done. I think, and you know, this is a guy in East Arkansas.
Gillette, Arkansas.
Yes, yeah. I think that's her. That's the everything is a dichotomy. There are two different contrasting versions of nearly everything. This public image of her as the face of San Francisco liberalism, that's dreadful as the point person or the face of the Democratic Party. I think that's true. I think the Democrats need somebody else on the news opposing Trump rather than Nancy Pelosi. But if you want a smart, effective majority on the Democratic side, she is the one to get it. And for all the talk about running against her, she knows, obviously the cliche is she counts votes better than anybody. She also raised money for more money than anybody. She's a tremendous fundraiser. So don't go to the Polk County Casino just yet and bet on her being replaced unless the odds are very, very good.
He's John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Always good to get your take. Thanks for being here.
You bet.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. That's all for today's program. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us. Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.